I don't enjoy hurting people. The only thing I want is to be the best in the world.
From the producer of Fahrenheit 9/11 and the director of Generation Iron comes an exploration of the most controversial sport in the world.
We're all compelled to do it.
It's gonna keep getting bigger.
The Hurt Business. In select movie theaters September 29th only. Tickets available at fathomevents.com.
What are your thoughts about this year's Olympia?
I think, like everyone else, that when Phil Heath walked out there, I mean, it was game over. And I think it has a lot to do with the challengers. Shawn Ray will probably be the least talked about first runner-up. Dexter Jackson will get more mileage out of getting runner-up last year at 46 years old than Shawn Ray will this year. The entire weekend, nobody really even talked about Shawn Ray. As a matter of fact, more people were talking about Big Ramy. A lot of people thought that Saturday night Ramy had done enough to move up from 4th place all the way to 2nd place, and I wouldn't have argued that. 2 years ago, Shawn Ray looked better than he did here. He's still lacking in the arms. He's still lacking in the shoulders. He's still very shallow in the back. When they turned around and hit the back shot, Shawn and Phil, it was not even a comparable pose. I mean, Dexter matches up a lot better. I love Shawn's look, but Shawn's just flat. He's got to find a personality somewhere in there. He's just never all the way there. He did the best of what he could. He actually looks like he might have something going on in his lower ab. His stomach wasn't under control. He's got the smallest waist, but he's got no control over his stomach. And on one of his lower abs, it almost looks like there's a bulge going on. It really does detract from the beauty of his physique. I didn't buy the second runner-up. I thought Big Ramy could have moved up a notch, and him and Dexter could have been battling it out for 2nd place.
What were your thoughts on Rulli? Some people thought that he should have placed higher.
Rulli got exactly where he should have been. As a matter of fact, really faded on Saturday. I mean, really came out with the wow factor of prejudging, but the more he was posing, the more the color started to fade. Thighs built up a lot of fluid. Separation disappeared, and from the rear, all you saw were deltoids. You didn't see the lower back. You didn't see any separation down there. He kept his hamstrings very tight. I'll give him credit there, but he was the one guy that faded as the competition went along.
Now, I think a big surprise to most people was William Bonac.
William Bonac wound up in 5th place, and rightfully so. The one thing that William Bonac continually forgot to do was hold in his stomach. He's got a very short torso. All that muscle, and he's very compact in the middle, and somewhere along the way he just gets relaxed. And when that stomach relaxes, you can't take your eyes off it. He's got the biggest arms, the biggest thigh sweeps. He definitely has to work on his presentation. Poses like Franco Columbu, very small. He's in here, you know, he needs to open that stuff up and think big. But he better watch it. He's pushing the envelope of being too big for his size, and it comes directly to his stomach.
I think it was a month ago we did an interview where I asked you about Kevin Levrone, and you gave your honest opinion about his comeback. What kind of feedback were you getting about that interview?
I would say 70% was like, hey, man, you told it like it is, you know, if he's not going to listen. And I had other people say, mind your own business, and why are you a hater, and you're supposed to be his friend. So all that stuff, that element was there. But I came from a place of experience and wisdom. Kevin called me up a month later in June to say, hey, man, you know, I want to put some of this stuff behind me, a lot of negativity coming into my ears from people that don't know you and me together. And I bought into it, and I just want to put that stuff behind us and let's move on. And, of course, I went to Baltimore to MC a show in July. I saw him, didn't get a chance to talk to him, and I haven't talked to him since. So I put it out there along the way that I stuck to my guns. That he's not going to make the top 10. On a good day, he might be 12th, but he's going to be probably somewhere around 15. That said, I never wished anything bad for Kevin. But you know what happened? After you and I did our interview, he tore his pec. He re-injured his knee along the way. His dream has been tempered from beating Phil Heath and becoming Mr. Olympia, showing these guys how to do it, to finishing the race. I watched his evolution and his journey as a fan and thought, holy crap, I mean, he's benching 405 pounds. I mean, for a 52-year-old that was a couch potato a year before, incredible. But I couldn't, without good conscience, think in my mind, something's going to snap. I hope he doesn't hurt himself. You know how many times I told my wife, I said, I hope Kevin doesn't hurt himself in the process. And she kept saying, well, why is he doing it? I said, he didn't go out the way he wanted to. He went out on an injury, and I just hope he doesn't get injured doing it again. And then he revealed after getting 16th place, he got injured. I couldn't explain to anybody that knew me and knew Kevin why Kevin and I are not talking. Kevin deleted me from his social media. So I told you when we started, before I open my mouth, either he's going to appreciate what I have to say or we're no longer going to be friends. I accept the fact that he's chosen no longer to be my friend because I spoke the truth. And you know what they say about the truth? It sets you free. You'll look back one day and realize that the only person that told him how they really felt about going into the danger zone was me. David Palumbo had him as winning the Mr. Olympia going all the way to the show. This guy's getting his knee drained. These bodybuilders, they let you know what they want you to know. If I'm going to be your best friend and turn around and lie to you the way that Palumbo lied to Kevin Levrone, why is Kevin still talking to someone like that? Dave Palumbo told the world that Kevin Levrone is going to win the Mr. Olympia because he's friends with him, he saw him, he's helping him. So would you value that opinion more than somebody that's telling you, look, you may not win. As a matter of fact, you don't have no chance of winning, but go in there and have fun and be careful along the way. It may be brutally honest and it might hurt in the beginning, but it's all out of love. I don't always say that I'm right. I've never tried to always be right. But as far as the Kevin Levrone analysis, I was right, and I will not lose a wink of sleep. And if I lost whatever 30-year relationship we had, that's on him. I didn't wish anything bad for him, but he's 52. I was wondering at some point where he would reveal the purpose. He said God was telling him to do these things. I thought maybe he's doing it for a supplement company. We didn't hear anything about a monetary reason. We just heard God put him on a mission, finish what you start, honor your commitment. The worst thing that could have happened is that he backs out. So literally he's going into this contest with a gun to his head, knowing that he has to do this for the fans because he signed a contract. And I got to tell you, Vlad, on some level, that can't be fun. Going to sleep at night, getting ready for the biggest show of your life, knowing that you're hurt and you can't get out. They're going to call you names. You're going to ruin your legacy in some way. So he went out there. They threw him to the lions, and the collective gasp was, I hope he gets through this routine. What I saw was a very cautious Kevin Levrone, moving very slow, almost kind of unsure of his next pose, almost lost on the stage. That wasn't the cocky Kevin Levrone I knew when he was on top of his game. And that comes with age. You start to lose your edge. So I applaud his efforts, man. I hope he doesn't go on trying to compete because what I saw collectively, he's not on the level of I have to be pro winner circle. And he's quick to tell you that we do this to win. The mindset of a champion is you compete to win. Right. And he had to know that he wasn't going to win. And that's not a good place to be when you know you're not going to win and you're in the third or the fourth call out. No one wanted to hear him go to the mic and talk about the injuries. But I think what we've learned from this is that, like Kevin said, anything's possible. But coming from a competitive standpoint, which is where my whole analysis was coming from, are you crazy? You're going to go and beat a 36-year-old Mr. Olympia going for number 6? It was ludicrous in my mind. So I hope on some level he can sleep well at night and he gets the competitive bug out. Because there's a lot of people, I don't know if you've heard this, a lot of people saying if he only has another 6 months, maybe he'll do the Arnold Classic in Ohio. If he does that, we could wind up paying some visits to the hospital room.
Now, when you saw him at Olympia on stage, when he finally revealed his physique, is that exactly what you expected?
It was exactly what I expected from the standpoint that he gave us some glimpses. So we saw him from the waist up. The upper body was standard. I mean, it was respectable. He held his own with a lot of those young guys from the waist up, but we're talking about the Mr. Olympia. We can't throw Muhammad Ali in the boxing ring with Larry Holmes and just call it jabs, man. At some point, a fight's going to break out. And that fight with Larry Holmes and Muhammad Ali was sad in the end. Kevin, he didn't look like a shadow of himself. He was Kevin Levrone of the Maryland Muscle Machine. But those legs were exactly what we expected them to be. They were on the way out in 2003 when he retired, and they were significantly small when we saw them. They weren't even remotely close to what they looked like when he began his career. What he did, I applaud, but I still think he would have probably gone over a lot better had he come out as a guest poser, because that's really what people wanted to see. Kevin on his own with his videos and his music and just doing his thing and not having to do a comparison with guys that are 20 years younger. It's an unfair fight. But Kevin in his mind thought he can beat these guys, and I just always believed that it's impossible. So still, Father Time is undefeated. Kevin gets applause for finishing the race. I just hope that the injuries aren't severe to the point where we see him walking with a cane 5 years from now.
Number 4, deadlifts are bad for your back. Deadlifts have a bad reputation of destroying your back, but that doesn't have to be the case if you do one simple thing. Make sure you have good form. Just like any other exercise, bad form will get you injured, so focus on making sure you're on point with your movements to avoid serious damage. Number 3.